Hi, thanks so much for joining me for another declutter video. This time I am going to declutter though. I had a hard time letting go of some of my eyeshadow palettes. I don't know why I get attached to those, but foundation I'm not as attached to, and you really do need to make sure that you are turning those over when they expire because bacteria can grow in there and then you can break out. But I do love foundation and base in general because that is the thing that covers most of your face. I think it was Heidi on Instagram, she's an Hourglass rep, recently posted that 90% of your Instagram is your foundation, or 90% of your face really when it comes to makeup is your foundation. So I think that's why I'm so focused on trying to find something that works really well in terms of color, texture, and just the overall look that I'm going for. So I do invest quite a bit. I do have a lot of things here to share with you. If you're interested in seeing different shades and brands that I've looked at, different textures, and also hear my thoughts on how they've performed for me before I get rid of them, and then I'll do some swatches along the way. If you're interested in that, please keep watching. These are my foundations and bases and skin tints I'll be going through and letting you know what I'll keep and what I will be getting rid of. First item is this Glossier skin tint. It is the Perfecting Skin Tint in Dark. Here's a swatch, really nice color match. It has a warm undertone to it. It blends really nicely, although it is a very, very minimal coverage, so your skin has to be nearly perfect for it to be used on because it doesn't really cover anything up. But if you want to even out skin tone, I think it's a great one. I will be keeping it just to add over sunscreen when I want to go really super minimal, so I'm going to keep that one. Then we have the NARS Velvet Matte Skin Tint Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This is in Cuba, medium 3. As you can see, the color match is really nice, although I can't say I like the finish of it on me. It is too matte. It brings out all kinds of texture and pores and fine lines, and I do not get along with it very well at all. My mom, however, has oily skin. I have dry skin, and she really likes that one, so that works for her. So I think depending on your skin type, that one may or may not work for you. Again, dry skin doesn't work. The finish is matte, but it does bring about a bunch of texture on me. I will not be keeping this one, so this one goes away. Next up is the Cover FX Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation. This is in G70. It's a good color match. It's a little bit on the dark side for me, but once I apply it, it looks really great and very, very nice texture. It's nice and smooth, skin-like. It feels very light on the skin, medium to full coverage. This one, NARS, I forgot to mention, it's medium to full coverage. This is very sheer coverage. You can layer this one up and get really great coverage if you're looking for full coverage while still looking like skin. You can see it has a warm undertone, but it also has some olive tones in it, which is great for my skin tone. So that is one of my favorite ones, and I will be keeping that one. Next is the Born This Way by Too Faced in Honey. I really liked this one for a while, but as you can see, it's a little bit cool for me. And then I was not liking the texture after a while. It was kind of dewy and skin-like, but then I found some other things that I liked better, so I will be getting rid of that one, but it is not nearly as warm as some of the other swatches I've already gone through. This one is medium to full coverage as well. I've talked about these before. Renewed Hope in a Jar Skin Tint. I've got one in 7.5 and one in 6.5. I'll swatch them both for you. That is 6.5 and that is 7.5. This is 6.5 and 7.5. I love the finish on this. Very, very skin-like. It melts into your skin. It doesn't bring out any texture or pores or fine lines. The color match is really nice. I like the more olive tone with the 7.5. It's a little bit pinker on 6.5, but I can mix the two to get the ideal shade. I've said it before, the packaging on this is not ideal. You can see stuff gets stuck to the lid, and then if this lid rolls all over, it does stain things like countertops. So then that's when I have to go in and really clean if I get any of that makeup on there. I wish it was in a squeeze tube. If it was, then that would certainly be my everyday go-to. But if I have a little bit more time, I will take this one out. It looks better as you wear it. So you apply it and it looks great, but as you check in the mirror throughout the day, it does actually look better, which is impressive. I will be keeping both of these. We have a Bobbi Brown foundation stick. This one is in 5 Honey. I like this one a lot. Great warm undertone. As you can see, it's creamy going on, skin-like finish. It is not as dewy as the other foundations I've talked about previously. It has more of a, I'm not going to say it's a matte finish, but it's definitely not as dewy as the other ones. Great for travel. Can't say enough about this, but I believe that I've had it for quite some time, so I'm going to have to get rid of it. I would definitely repurchase that one. Next up, we have a KIKO Milano Liquid Skin Second Skin Foundation. This is in the color Warm Beige 110. Here it is swatched next to everything else. You can see this is probably one of the closest color matches I've had. Really beautiful, warm undertone. I like the performance of it. It's a little bit on the thinner side, more of a medium coverage. Can't say anything bad about it. I think that it's an amazing value, especially for the way it performs. I think it can compete with some of the higher end items that I've tried. I love it. I would repurchase it, but I think that it's going away simply because it is expired at this point. I've had it for longer than 6 months. I think KIKO Cosmetics is kind of an underrated brand. If you live near a KIKO Cosmetics store, definitely go in and check it out because I have been consistently impressed with different items that they offer. Next up, we have Cover FX Custom Cover Drops. We have them in G40, G50, and G70. I like these because you can add them to your current foundations to adjust the color. You can use them alone, or you can also mix them in and thin them out, say in a moisturizer. I use them pretty much straight. They're not as thin as I would like them to be, but I'll go ahead and swatch them for you. Okay, this is G40 right here, G50, and G70. You can see that there's quite a jump between 50 and 70. I don't know why I don't have 60, but I don't have that. You can see a nice golden undertone with those. I don't know if I would repurchase these at this time because I'm finding more foundations in my shades. That was my main reason to purchase them initially, was to kind of correct the ones I have, but I have found foundations that work better now. I think companies are getting better about that, so these are not as necessary as they were when I first purchased them, but I love mixing colors, and you can see I do have quite a range so far. Up next, Your Skin But Better CC Plus by IT Cosmetics, and I've got one in tan and one in rich. I've talked about tan before. I don't like this one on my skin tone. It's too cool. It looks a bit gray, but I did find rich. It is on the warmer side, but it does color correct as well. So that one is working great for daily. I'll keep rich, getting rid of tan. I'd like to try and keep all these on here so you can kind of see the comparison as we go along. I don't have that many left, but I still have quite a few. Next up is this L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion in W5.5. If you are looking for a drugstore foundation that is really good, I'd try this one. I love it. I don't use this sponge that came with it. Here it is. Really nice warm undertone. I've gotten a lot of compliments on that. I haven't worn it for a while, and it is time for it to go away just because I've had it for a while, but very skin-like. Medium coverage, I would say, not full coverage at all. Really great recommendation if you're looking to try a cushion foundation. This one is going away. Next, we have the Josie Maran Vibrancy Foundation Fluid in Fearless RG65. I purchased this because it was Jaclyn Hill who raved about it. As you can see, it is much cooler than the other tones, which is why I didn't really use it. That's when I'd have to mix in the Cover FX Custom Cover Drops to kind of adjust that. Nice skin-like finish, medium coverage, medium to full, depending on how you build it up. I don't know if I would recommend it because I won't be repurchasing it, but really nice. Color match isn't great, but the finish is beautiful. Next, we have a Makeup Forever Face and Body. It is more liquidy. I believe it's in 34, but I'll double check and make sure that I've got the right color here for you. I'll list it down below, but it is a face and body liquid makeup. I heard good things about this, so I thought I'd pick it up. I know you're supposed to shake it up, but I had this issue with it since the beginning. Just taking a look at it here, you can see it kind of settles into fine lines. It is on the pinker side for me, not a great color match. This is for me sheer to medium coverage. Color match was not perfect for me, and I did have some separation once it was applied to my skin. Maybe it was the bottle I got, but it had been performing like this since I purchased it. I will not be keeping this one though. Back to drugstore, we have a Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer in 09 Tan. I had heard people rave about this. Always willing to try things at the drugstore because sometimes you never know what you'll find. I'm going to start right up here again so we can kind of keep them all on the same arm. And here's the color. Pretty good color match for me, but it was more on the matte side, which I don't like, and it looked a little bit heavy on me. I will not be keeping this one, but I am glad that I tried it. Next, we have the BECCA Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. And this actually reminds me of the one I just talked about. This one's in Bamboo. Kind of the same finish, a little bit thicker on the skin. And if you look at them side by side, the texture is very similar as well. Color is very close to the one I just talked about. This one's a little bit warmer. Great color match. However, I did not like the appearance of it on my skin. It kind of looked like it was sitting on top of my skin, and I will not be keeping that one. We have another Makeup Forever HD. This one is in N153. I liked this, and I wore this for quite a while because of the color match. You can see it's really nice and warm. I would repurchase it if I wasn't trying out new foundations, but I do like to try out new ones, so at this point I will not be repurchasing, but nice warm undertone. Next we have a Smashbox product, Camera Ready BB Water SPF 30 in medium. Really nice light coverage, kind of like the Glossier skin tint, but a little bit thicker than that. So it is a very sheer coverage on me. You could build it up to get to medium. I like how it has SPF, and this one I've had for a while, so this one is going away though. It's a very solid product. Back to drugstore, I purchased this when I went to the Midwest and forgot to bring foundation. So I picked this up, L'Oreal True Match in Warm Caramel Beige W7. And this is one of the best color matches I've ever seen, high-end or drugstore. Just comparing the swatch to all of the other ones, I think you can tell too that it's not too warm, it's not too cool. It's just in that perfect spot where it's warm with a little bit of olive. I would like something that's a little bit more creamy though. I did see this on my skin once it was on there, but really beautiful color match. I know I've talked about these, the Quan Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX11 and 12. These are my go-tos. If nothing else is working, I know this works. This has the most skin-like finish out of all of these items I've shown you, and they are the most full coverage. You can see it's very thick in there, but when it goes on, it looks like skin. Doesn't ever collect in any fine lines or pores. It just is amazing in terms of the formula, and the color match is pretty good. I kind of have to put both of them on sometimes depending on the season, but these are great ones, and if you haven't tried them yet, I would. They're a little intimidating, I think, because they are so dense in pigmentation, but they also have shown it with a primer that they offer where you can kind of mix them together. You can see it's kind of like an icing. I want to say it's like icing or frosting, that thick. Here's SX11 and SX12. SX12 has that great warm yet olive undertone. Finish is amazing on those. The reason I don't wear it every day is because I can feel it on my skin. They don't work as concealers on me because I need some color correcting, but beautiful, beautiful foundation. If you ever need foundation for photos or film, then this one is a great one. I would definitely recommend that one. And finally, we have Cover FX. I've got two powder foundations in G50 and G60. I like to use these to finish off my foundation when I'm filming. Otherwise, I'll just wear it on an everyday basis over a little bit of the by Terry CC serum, the one I talked about in Sunny Flash, and also over sunscreen. It kind of just adjusts the color so it looks a little bit more like my skin color. I tried the Bare Minerals, but that one still is, the texture on me is not great. So we've got really hard to see with the powder, but we've got G50 and G60 here. So of course I'm keeping those. So these are all the ones I'm keeping. And these are the items that I'm keeping. So the Cover FX powder foundations, the Renewed Hope in a jar. I've got the Quan, the Glossier skin tint, the Cover FX, and then the CC Skin in Rich. And then I'm getting rid of a lot, I think. And these are all the ones I'm getting rid of. I think I actually have more than I'm getting rid of this time. Yes, indeed. I have more than I'm getting rid of this time, so I definitely decluttered. Feels much better having just the ones that I love and then getting rid of those and just getting more to try. As you can see, I do love foundations. I really enjoy trying out new formulas to see if that is indeed the holy grail that I'm looking for. I've come close a couple times, really love that Quan one, but I just feel it too much on my skin for everyday use, but I love it on camera. And as you can see, there were a few more that I really love as well, but I'm really happy to get rid of most of them because they are just taking up space at this point. It does make me realize how much I do buy with the hopes of finding that one foundation that I can't live without. So if you did enjoy this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please let me know if there's something else that you'd like to see decluttered. I'm happy to do that, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.